Let's be honest for a second. We have all been there, sitting at a desk at 2 in the morning with 3 empty energy drink cans, staring at a textbook that might as well be written in ancient hieroglyphics. Your heart is racing, your eyes are burning, and you are wondering if this is just what success is supposed to feel like? We have been sold this idea that if you are not stressed, you are not working hard enough. But I am here to tell you that is a complete lie. In fact, high levels of stress actually make you perform worse because your brain literally shuts down its creative and logical centers when it is in survival mode. If you want to actually succeed in school and keep your sanity intact, you need a system that works with your biology, not against it. Success in school is not about being the person who stays in the library the longest. It is about being the person who knows how to use their time so effectively that they still have time for a full night of sleep, a workout, and hanging out with friends. The first thing we need to change is how you look at your workload. Have you ever noticed that if you give yourself an entire day to write a single essay, it somehow takes the entire day? That is called Parkinson's Law. It says that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. If you want to reduce stress, you have to stop giving yourself infinite time. Start setting micro deadlines. Tell yourself you have exactly 90 minutes to finish that outline, and then you are done. When you create that artificial sense of urgency, your brain stops procrastinating and starts performing. It is about focusing on output rather than hours spent sitting in a chair. You want to be a finisher, not just a worker. Now, let's talk about the most common mistake students make, which is passive learning. If you spend your time highlighting sentences in a textbook or rereading your notes over and over, you are essentially wasting your time. It feels like you are studying because the information looks familiar, but familiarity is not the same as mastery. This is why you feel stressed during an exam. You recognize the question, but you cannot actually retrieve the answer. To fix this, you need to switch to active recall. Instead of reading, close the book and try to explain the concept out loud as if you were teaching it to a 5-year-old. If you cannot explain it simply, you do not understand it well enough yet. This is known as the Feynman technique, and it is the single most powerful tool for learning complex subjects quickly. When you actively pull information out of your brain instead of trying to shove it in, the neural pathways get stronger and your confidence goes up, which naturally brings your stress levels down. Another huge stressor is the feeling of being overwhelmed by a massive list of tasks. When you look at everything you have to do for the whole semester, your brain sees a mountain it cannot climb. The secret here is to use the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. Roughly 80% of your grades will come from 20% of your efforts. Identify the core concepts that the teacher focuses on and prioritize those. You do not need to be a perfectionist about every single minor assignment. Sometimes, good enough is actually perfect because it saves your energy for the things that really matter, like big projects or final exams. Stop trying to give 100% to things that only count for 1% of your grade. We also need to address your environment and your digital distractions. You cannot reach a flow state if your phone is buzzing every 30 seconds with a new notification. Every time you get distracted, it takes an average of 23 minutes to get back to that deep level of focus. That means if you check your phone 3 times an hour, you are never actually working at full capacity. Put your phone in another room. Use a website blocker. Create a dedicated study space that is not your bed. Your brain needs to associate your bed with sleep and your desk with focus. When you blur those lines, you end up lying in bed thinking about school and sitting at your desk feeling tired. By separating your spaces, you allow your mind to fully switch off when the workday is over. Speaking of switching off, let's talk about the ultimate cheat code for school success that almost everyone ignores, and that is sleep. I know it sounds cliché, but sleep is not a luxury. It is a biological necessity for memory consolidation. When you sleep, your brain is busy taking everything you learned during the day and moving it from short-term memory into long-term storage. If you pull an all-nighter, you are essentially hitting the delete key on everything you just studied. You will show up to the test with a foggy brain and a high heart rate, which is a recipe for a panic attack. Prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of sleep is not being lazy, it is being a high-level strategist. You will get more done in 4 hours of high-focus work after a good night's rest than in 12 hours of exhausted scrolling and staring at a screen. Organization is the next pillar of a stress-free life. You should never use your brain to store to-do lists. Your brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. Use a digital calendar or a simple paper planner to write down every deadline the moment you hear about it. Once it is on paper, your brain can stop looping that thought over and over again. This clears up mental bandwidth for actual thinking. Break every big project down into tiny, manageable steps. Instead of writing, write history paper on your list. Find 3 sources or write the first 2 paragraphs. Small wins build momentum, and momentum is the enemy of stress. You also need to learn the power of saying no. High-achieving students often fall into the trap of overcommitting. You do not need to be the president of every club or attend every single social event if it means you're going to have a breakdown. It is okay to protect your peace. Set boundaries with your time. If you decide that you stop working every night at 8 p.m., stick to it. Having a hard stop time forces you to be more productive during the day and gives you something to look forward to in the evening. This balance is what prevents burnout. Let's discuss the social aspect of school. You do not have to do this alone. Finding a study group of people who are as motivated as you are can change everything. When you study with others, you can fill in each other's gaps in knowledge. Just make sure it does not turn into a 2-hour venting session about how much you hate the class. Keep it focused. Also, do not be afraid to talk to your teachers or professors. They are not the enemy. They actually want you to succeed. If you are struggling with a concept, go to office hours early. Most students wait until the week of the final to ask for help, and by then, the stress is already through the roof. Asking for help early is a sign of strength and intelligence, not weakness. Finally, remember to be kind to yourself. You are going to have days where you are unproductive. You are going to have days where you fail a quiz or feel like you are falling behind. That is part of the process. Stress usually comes from the stories we tell ourselves about our failures. If you fail a test and tell yourself that your life is over and you will never get a job, your stress will be astronomical. If you fail a test and tell yourself that it was a data point showing you that your current study method for this specific subject needs to change, then you stay in control. Keep a growth mindset. Every challenge is just a puzzle to solve. Success in school is a marathon, not a sprint. If you try to sprint the whole way, you will collapse before the finish line. By managing your time with Parkinson's law, using active recall instead of passive reading, prioritizing sleep, and keeping a clear organization system, you will find that you can get better grades with half the effort and almost zero stress. You are capable of amazing things, but you have to be your own best advocate. Take a deep breath, clear your desk, and take it one small step at a time. You have got this. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of our future guides on mastering your life and your studies. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.